ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். We are having our Punarpusam Satsangam. Usually we have it for one day, the Sunday after the Punarpusam. But this time we are having it for 2 days, today and tomorrow. Considering we just celebrated Emberumanar's Thirunakshatram, we thought of engaging in Emberumanar's Divya Charitram in context of Divideshams. We actually had this particular topic discussed in detail in Tamil during the 10 days of Emberumanar's Thirunakshatra Mahotsavam. And what we are going to do now is, today and tomorrow, we are going to see briefly what was discussed in those 10 days. The reason why this year we chose this particular topic is, we all know that Emberumanar had Divideshams very dear to his heart, and he reformed all the Divideshams starting with Srirangam and ensured that all the Utsavams, all the Kaikaryams, all of that happen in the proper manner. But due to this corona situation, in most of the Divideshams there was very minimal celebration for Emberumanar's Thirunakshatram. Usually his Thirunakshatara Mahotsavam will be celebrated for 10 days in a very grand manner in all of the Divideshams. But this time, due to all the lockdown situation, there was very little celebration in most of the Divideshams. In such situation, we thought that we could engage in celebrating Emberumanar's Thirunakshatra Mahotsavam at our homes as much as possible. Main ingredients of the Utsavam being a recital of Divya Pravandam Pasurams, at least Thiruvaimozhi, 1 centum per day. So over the course of 10 days we would complete Thiruvaimozhi and engage in discussing and listening about Emberumanar's Vaibhavam as much as possible. That was the aim, and by Emberumanar's grace we could fulfill it to the fullest possible extent over the last 10 days during the Utsavam time. And considering that experience, which was very nice, although it cannot be a replacement for the real experience in the temple, especially in Sri Perumbudur, Emberumanar's Thirunakshatra Mahotsavam is celebrated in a very grand manner. Every day, very early in the morning, around 4:30 or so, Emberumanar would step out of his Sannidhi and he would go around inside the temple, Adikeshava Perumal temple, performing Mangalashasanam to Tayar, Sri Ram Parivar and so on. And then there would also be the Chaturgati, the Purapadu inside the temple, where Emberumanar will be carried in a small palanquin, and the devotees who carry him would walk in certain different ways, like a snake, like a lion, and so on. And after that, Emberumanar would come out and he would go to the Vahana Mandapam, where he would be placed on the particular palanquin for the morning Purapadu. He would go around the town. It will be a very big Purapadu. And then he would return back to Vahana Mandapam. Inside the Vahana Mandapam, there is the Avatara Mandapam of Emberumanar. He would go there and rest there for a little while, and then he would return to the mirror room in the temple. That will be the end of the morning program. After that, in the noon time, there would be Tirumanjaram for Emberumanar, followed by Divya Prabandham recital. And again in the evening, there would be Purapadu, what they call as Patti Ulathal, which is a very slow procession inside the temple, where Emberumanar would enjoy Unjal or swing, and then he would go to Vahana Mandapam again, and there would be Purapadu procession again, and then he would come back to the temple, to the mirror room, where Divya Prabandha Seva Kalam, Thiruvaimozhi will be recited, and this will be around 10:30. In the initial few days, it will be around 10 or so. After that, it will keep on getting late. And after the completion of the Divya Prabandham Seva Kalam, Emberumanar would go back to his Sannidhi. This is the routine every day in these 10 days, and it will be very, very enthusiastically celebrated. People from all over the world even would come to Sriperumbudur to enjoy just this Utsavam. But all of that was missed this year. So we cannot replace that experience, but we can compensate a little bit by engaging at home, celebrating Emberumanar's Utsavam, and that's what we try to do over the last 10 days. And now we are recollecting the discussions, the discourses we had in Tamil about Emberumanar and Divideshams. So in this particular series, we discussed about Emberumanar's relationship, some wonderful activities in particular Divideshams. Each day we saw one or two or even three Divideshams, depending on the number of incidents, number of different activities which happened there, and so on. The first day we started with Sri Vaikuntham, Parampadam. We also enjoyed the relationship with Emberumanar for Thiruvallikeni, Dividesham, Parthasarathi Perumal. And then we also saw Sriperumbudur. So that was the first day. And then second day we saw Kanchipuram, little bit of Tiruputkudi, how Emberumanar had relationship in this Dividesham. The third day we saw Srirangam. Fourth day we saw Tirumala, Tirupati, Tiruvengadam. Fifth day we saw Tirunarayanapuram. So these were the first 5 days. We'll try to cover the important aspects of these first 5 days. today, and after that we can see tomorrow the remaining 5 days topics. After Tirunaranapuram, we saw Alvar Tirunagari and Navatirupati, and then there was, on the 7th day, we saw Srivilliputtooru and Tirumalirunjolai. 8th day we saw Tirukkoshtiur, Tirukkurungudi, Tiruvananthapuram, and also a little bit of Vanamamalai. 9th day we saw all the Divadeshams in the north, where Emperumanar went for a Digvijay Yatra. And finally, on the 10th day, we again saw Srirangam a little bit and how he ascended to Paramadam. So these were the 10 days and 10 topics. We will see the first 5 days topics today. It will be a little bit of a push to see all the Vaibhavams, but at least we will see the important aspects. Mainly, even in all of these days, rather than looking at the historical sequence and chronological activities, we were more looking into the specific relationship between the Emperuman in the Dividesham and Emperumanar, or a particular Acharya in that Dividesham, and so on, or particular incident in that Dividesham which is very relishable, and so on. So we'll see a similar set of aspects today also. So let us start with the first day. So we started with Paramadam, how Emperumanar descended from Paramadam for the upliftment of all of us, basically. In Ramanuja Nuthandadi, there is a beautiful pasuram. மண்மிசை யோனிகள் தோறும் பிறந்து எங்கள் மாதவனே கண்ணுற நிற்கிலும் காணகில்லா உலகோர்கள் எல்லாம் அண்ணலி ராமானுசன் வந்து தோன்றிய அப்பொழுதே நன்னறி ஞானம் கொண்டு நாரணர்க்கு ஆயினரே. நன்னறி ஞானம் தலை கொண்டு நாரணர்க்கு ஆயினரே. In this pasuram, it is beautifully explained that Emperumanar's incarnation, Emperumanar's avataram in this world had a much greater impact for all of us compared to Emperuman's incarnations. So Bhagavan himself incarnated in many incarnations, in many forms, and he was presenting himself visibly to be seen by everyone. Still, not many could appreciate him, not many could become fully devoted to him. But when Emperumanar Ramanuja descended into this universe, when he took birth, many understood Emperuman's greatness through his own works such as Sri Bhashyam, Gita Bhashyam, Vedanta Sangraham, Vedanta Saram, Vedanta Deepam, Sharanagati Gatyam, and so on and so forth. So through all of those granthams, as well as his own holy divine presence here, it is said in Shastram that when great personalities take birth in this world, that itself will have a very positive impact. It will bring Sattva Gunam up in many people. So in this manner, Emperumanar's incarnation, presence in this world, brought a lot of change. And how did that happen? Adishesha, Emperumanar, is none other than Adishesha himself. So Sriman Narayana asked Adishesha to go to this material world and reform as many people and bring them all to Parampadam, deliver them basically. Because Bhagavan arranged for the presence of Alvars in this material world to facilitate all the Atmas to reach him. Alvars, as the name indicates, are totally immersed in Bhagavan, while they, out of great mercy, gave the pasurams for the benefit of everyone and had great impact during their presence. Still, they were more focused on being fully immersed in Bhagavan, and hence they could not deliver many souls. Hence, Bhagavan wanted someone from Paramapadam to go down to this material world and deliver as many souls possible. And he chose Adishesha for that role. Because Adishesha is the primary servitor of Bhagavan. He is always with Bhagavan. Even in the absence of Pirati, physically sometimes. Like in the case of Ramavataram, Pirati gets separated from Perumal. Still, Lakshmana, who is incarnation of Adishesha, is always with Perumal, even at that stage. So Adishesha has this special quality of being with Perumal always and always engaged in service. So who else can be more apt than Adishesha, who knows the value of serving Bhagavan? Hence, Bhagavan chose Adishesha and asked him to go to material world and take birth here. An apt situation was waited for. Kesava Somayaji, a resident of Sriperumbudur, was looking to have a child. Even after marriage and being married for some time, he and his wife did not have any children. So he went to Tiruvallikeni, Dividesham, from Sriperumbudur, and he prayed to the Perumal there. It is said that he performed Putra Kameshti Yajna. And as a result of that, Perumal says that I will take birth as your son. And soon after he comes back to Sriperumbudur, his wife becomes pregnant and they get a beautiful boy child. Now, it is well understood that Ramanujar, Emperumanar, is an incarnation of Adishesha. Now, how does it make sense when it's also said that Parthasarathi Perumal appeared as Ramanuja? The concept is Bhagavan's incarnations are divided into two categories, Mukhyavatara and Gaunavatara. Mukhyavatara is when he himself takes birth, he incarnates directly, fully, like Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Rama, Krishna, and so on. Gaunavatara is when he imposes himself or his Shakti on Jivatmas. Gaunavatara can be two categories. One is Shakti Avesha or Swarupa Avesha. Shakti Avesha means he gives his power, specific ability to somebody. Swarupavesha means he himself imposes on someone directly. But both of these are Gaunavataras. So in this particular case, we can see an example where Parashurama, for example, is explained as Gaunavatara. In some times, he is said to be Shakti Avesha Avatara. In some cases, he is said to be Swarupa Avesha Avatara. This difference can happen in different Yuga cycles. One time he may be incarnating as Shakti Avesha, another time he may be incarnating as Swarupa Avesha. It depends on the situation and so on. Similarly, Balarama is also Adishesha Avatara, but he is also said to be Avatara of Vishnu. And that is also the same concept where Balarama is really Adishesha Avatara, but Bhagavan also imposes his own Shakti or Swarupa on Adishesha. So similar understanding can be had here also, that Adishesha incarnates as Ramanuja, but he comes with the power of Bhagavan, Parthasarathi Perumal. We are also going to see in the end, in the last session, about how Embemanar is also glorified as an incarnation of all the 5 main weapons of Bhagavan. But that is another experience shown by Thiruvaranga Thamudanaar in Ramanuja Nutrandadi. Coming back to our Charitram here, so Adishesha comes down as Ramanuja to Sri Perumbudur, and at that time Periya Thirumalai Nambi, who is the maternal uncle of Ramanuja, that is Ramanuja's mother's brother, he hears about the birth of the child and he comes rushing to Sri Perumbudur. He sees the child who is very radiant. He understands that this child is a Avatara Purusha, and he sees the qualities of Adishesha. So he names the child as Ilayalvar. Ilayalvar also is a name of Lakshmana and an indication of Adishesha. And he also performs Tapa Samskara and Pundra Samskara. In those days, for children, when they are born, they would be performed Tapa Samskara, Pundra Samskara and Nama Samskara. Mantra Samskara and Yajna Samskara will happen later when the child becomes knowledgeable, a little bit able to correlate things and so on. We have seen this in some of the Acharya's life history, because they want to establish the Acharya Sambandham even when the child is born. Even today, in some mutts and Tirumaligais, such Panchasamskaram being done at a very early age is seen. Even for girls it is done in some mutts, because generally it is said that for girls they do the Panchasamskaram only after marriage, but that is more for a convenience sake, so that there is no conflicts between the Acharya of the parent side of the girl and the in-law side of the girl. Because if the girl child is given Panchasamskaram in a very early age, she would be used to that particular Acharya, have great devotion. But if she goes to a different family where they have a different Acharya, then if there is conflicts between the two Acharya, like there is particular function or celebration in one mutt another, and there is celebration at the same time in another mutt, then there may be some disagreements and so on. So because of this convenience factor, most people are doing Panchasamskaram for girls after marriage, but there is no such rule that it should be only done after marriage. In fact, in the olden days, as we saw, everyone would be given Acharya Sambandham as soon as possible. So Periyathirumalai Nambi performs Panchasamskaram, and early days Ilayalvar spends his early days in Sriperumbudur, but at a very young age he loses his father. So he decides to go to Kanchipuram along with his mother and stay there to learn about Vedanta, to study Vedanta. So from Sriperumbudur, now we are moving on to Kanchipuram. In Kanchipuram, he starts Vedanta learning under Yadav Prakasha, and Yadav Prakasha belongs to a different Siddhanta, not Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta. He belongs to a variation of Advaita Siddhanta, and he teaches, and there are disagreements. We know the historical events. He tries to get Ilayalvar killed in Varanasi, and Govindacharya, who is the cousin of Ilayalvar, who also studies along with Yadav Prakasha, he rescues Ilayalvar at the right time and sends Ilayalvar through the forest route to Kanchipuram. So at this stage, when Ilayalvar is coming back alone in the forest route, he becomes lost and he is looking for some help. At that time, Devaperumal and Perendevi Thayar assumes the form of hunter couple and they come to Ilayalvar, and they say that they will take him to the destination. And Ilayalvar is very thankful and he follows them. And when they just travel overnight, they become tired and they rest. And in the morning, when Ilayalvar wakes up, he sees that the hunter couple is not there, but it's quite bright now. It's daytime now. He sees that the day has arrived, and he also sees some people around. He is not in the forest any longer, and when he asks, they all say that he is in Kanchipuram, outside the Kanchipuram, and they show the temple tower Gopuram of Kanchipuram, and he is very thankful. Now he realizes that it was Devaperumal and Perendevi Thayar themselves have come and guided him to safety. So we can see that the relationship between Devaperumal and Perendevi Thayar with Ilayalvar, Ramanujar, is like a parent-child relationship. Devaperumal always cared for Ilayalvar, Ramanujar. At every situation, it was Devaperumal who guided Ilayalvar. So he returns back, and after some time, Yadav Prakasha and his disciples also come back, and Yadav Prakasha again invites Ilayalvar to join the classes. There are disagreements again, and this time Ilayalvar becomes very disturbed. At this stage, Alavandar is coming from Srirangam to Kanchipuram. Alavandar is leading our Sampradayam in Srirangam. He knows that a great Avatara Purusha will be born, and he knows the details about that Avatara Purusha, who is Ilayalvar. Alavandar is the grandson of Nathamunigal. Sriman Nathamunigal had direct interaction with Nammalvar. We all know the history of it. When he recited the Kanunijiritambu 12,000 times, he interacted with Nathamunigal. He got the blessing of Nammalvar directly. Nammalvar taught him all the Divya Prabandhams, not only his own but all the other Alvar's Divya Prabandhams also. was taught by Nammalvar to Sriman Nathamunigal. And not only the Pasurams, Nammalvar also teaches him all the meanings, all the esoteric principles in Divya Prabandham. And while explaining the meanings of Thiruvaimozhi, in the course of the explanation, when Poliga 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 Pasuram was explained by Nammalvar to Nathamunigal, at that time Nammalvar explains about Bhavishyatacharyan, the future Acharya who is about to appear in this world in some time. And at that time Nathamunigal gets a deity, a Vigraham of that Bhavishyatacharya, that is Ramanuja, from Nammalvar. This Vigraham is made by a sculptor based on the divine blessings of Nammalvar. We all know that there is a Bhavishyatacharya Vigraha already, which was acquired by Madhurakavi Alvar when he boiled the Tamrabarni river water. At that time first Ramanuja's Vigraha come, that is the Bhavishyatacharya Vigraham. Only after that, the second time when he boils, he gets the Vigraham of Nammalvar. So even today we see the Nammalvar Vigraham Tirumeni in Alvar Sannidhi, and Ramanujar Bhavishyatacharyan Vigraham, which was acquired by Madhurakavi Alvar, we see that Tirumeni in Ramanuja Chaturvedi Mangalam in Bhavishyatacharyan Sannidhi. There is a second Bhavishyatacharyan Vigraham which is acquired by Nathamunigal from Nammalvar. This Bhavishyatacharyan Vigraham, while being given by Nammalvar also says that the person who is going to appear in the near future is going to have Tiruvadirai as the Nakshatram. And he also says this person will be great in Vedantam. And there is the Vigraha, the deity, which is also present. So with these three, there is very good identification for the person to appear. Anyone can identify, anyone intelligent can identify. So this Vigraham, this Tirumeni, goes from Nathamunigal to Uyyakondar, and from Uyyakondar to Manakalambi, and from Manakalambi to Alavandar. So Alavandar has the Vigraham in his hand, which is the Vigraham of Bhavishyatacharyan, the Ramanuja's Vigraham, and he knows that he is born in Tiruvadirai, and he knows that this person will be great in Vedantam. Already Ramanuja's Ilayalvar has become very famous due to his interactions with Yadav Prakasha, how he debates Yadav Prakasha at times and all of that. So he is very popular. His knowledge is well known in the scholastic circles. It is also known that his Nakshatram is Tiruvadirai. So Alavandar now comes to Kanchipuram to verify that whether it is the same personality, and he has the Vigraham. So when he sees that Vigraham and when he sees Ramanuja in Devaperumal Sannidhi, near the Kariyamanikya Perumal Sannidhi, in Devaperumal temple there is a Kariyamanikya Perumal Sannidhi. It is Tirukachinambi who takes Alavandar and shows Ilayalvar to Alavandar. And as soon as Alavandar sees, he confirms that it is the same great personality. So he earmarks Ilayalvar to be the next great Acharya of our Sampradayam. So he goes to Devaperumal and performs Sharanagati there. He requests Devaperumal to expedite the process of bringing Ilayalvar to the Sampradayam, and then he returns back, and after that he sends, in the meantime Ilayalvar gives up the association of Yadav Prakasha. He comes to Tirukachinambi for guidance. He has heard about Tirukachinambi, and based on his mother's advice, he stops the Vedanta education, saying that is sufficient, and he goes to Tirukachinambi, and Tirukachinambi guides Ilayalvar to perform Tirtha Kainkaryam from Salaikinaru, bringing water from the nearby well. And he starts doing that, and he has some doubts. He asks Tirukachinabbi about those doubts. And around this time, Alavandar ascends to Parampadam. Periyanambi comes to Kanchipuram to take Ilayalvar to Srirangam. But by the time they reach, Alavandar already ascended to Parampadam. So Ilayalvar could not have a face-to-face discussion with Alavandar, even though he had great respect for Alavandar. And then at that time he vows, looking at the folded fingers of Alavandar, he vows that he will fulfill all the desires of Alavandar, and then the folded fingers stretch out. So everyone understands that Ilayalvar is the next great Acharya. But Ilayalvar at that time doesn't even go into Srirangam, he just returns back to Kanchipuram and continues his service. He has these doubts, so he goes to Tirukachinabbi and requests Tirukachinabbi to get clarification from Deva Perumal, and he gets the Tirukachinabbi goes to Deva Perumal and asks for clarification, and Deva Perumal gives the clarification. We know the 6 words saying that I am the Supreme, Vedam is the Siddhanta, Prapati is the means, one who surrenders, they will get liberation at the end of this body, current body, and they don't need to think about me at the final moments. These are 5 general instructions, and there is final instruction, Purnacharya Samashraye. Go and take Purnacharya as the Acharya. Now here Purnacharya means there are few Purnacharyas. There is Mahapurna, Kanchipurna, there is Mahapurna, there is Goshtipurna, there is Sri Shailapurna. Mahapurna is Periyanambi, Goshtipurna is Tirukoshtipurnambi, Sri Shailapurna is Periyathirmalai Nambi. So one may be wondering how Ramanujar, Ilayalvar, chose Periyanambi as the Acharya when it is just saying Purnacharya. There is precedence when before Alavandar ascending to Parampadam, Alavandar sent Mahapurna Periyanambi only to bring him there to Srirangam. So Periyanambi naturally was the heir apparent for Alavandar to lead the Sampradayam in that situation. So there is the meeting of Ilayalvar and Periyanambi in Madurantangam, and Ilayalvar requests Periyanambi to perform Panchasanskaram at that same moment, instantaneously, and Periyanambi performs Panchasanskaram and comes to Kanchipuram and stays for some time in Kanchipuram, and then he returns to Srirangam. After some time, Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar comes to Kanchipuram based on the advice of Periya Perumal to bring Ilayalvar to Kanchipuram. By now, Ilayalvar has also taken Sannyasashramam, and even that time it was Deva Perumal who gave the Sannyasashramam to Ilayalvar. Ilayalvar becomes Ramanuja at that time, and he is also given the name Yathiraja at that time. So Deva Perumal ensures at every stage that Ilayalvar gets transformed into the subsequent states. And when Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar comes, he requests Deva Perumal to hand over Ilayalvar, Ramanuja, and he wanted Ramanuja to come along to Srirangam. Deva Perumal first hesitates, but then he fulfills his word. He sends Ramanuja along with Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar to Srirangam. In this manner, Kanchipuram has a great place in Ramanuja's heart, and also Deva Perumal, and of course Tirukachinambi. So all of these have a great influence on Ramanuja. After he comes to Srirangam, he was given a grand welcome by Periya Perumal. He goes to Periya Perumal in proper sequence, in proper kramam, and performs Mangalasasanam to Periya Perumal. Periya Perumal gives the title Udayavar to Ramanuja, appointing him as the in charge of both Nitya Vibhuti and Leela Vibhuti. So Periya Perumal's relationship with Ramanuja Embiramanar is kind of a mentor and a follower. So he sees Periya Perumal being the Prathamacharya. He sees Embiramanar to be the Jagadacharya. He sees the quality in Embiramanar and he nurtures Embiramanar and gives him that great honorable position of being Udayavar, where Embiramanar can show any Atma and request Embirman to accept him in Vaikuntham, in Parampadam. So that great responsibility is given to, great honor and responsibility is given by Periya Perumal to Embiramanar. Periya Perumal also asks Embiramanar to reform the temple worship methodologies, and Embiramanar starts doing that immediately. He gets some opposition and he was even poisoned, but he never gave up his commitment. He continued on, and with able guidance from Periya Nambi, Tirukoshtir Nambi, Tirumalai Andan, Tiruvaranga Perumal Arayar, and so on, he was quickly reforming the temple activities. It was in Srirangam where he wrote most of the Granthams, composed most of the Vedanta Granthams, Sri Bhashyam, Gita Bhashyam, Nitya Grantham, Sharanagati Gadyam, Vedanta Saram, Vedanta Deepam, and so on. All of these Granthams, except for Vedanta Sangraham, which is said to have been recited directly by Embiramanar while he was in Tirumala, Tirupati, in front of Tiruvenkadamudayan. All the other Granthams are supposed to have been written while he was in Srirangam. He also initiated the commentary tradition for Divya Prabandhams through Tirukkurugai Pillan. He ordered Pillan to write a commentary for Tiruvaimozhi. Instead of himself writing it, he asked Pillan to write it, because if Embiramanar writes a commentary, there would be hesitation to do anything more than that on that particular field, because it would be considered as the final word. So instead of himself writing the first commentary for Divya Prabandham, he asked Tirukkurugai Pillan to write the commentary for Tiruvaimozhi, and that's how the commentary tradition started. Without the commentaries, it will be very difficult to understand the Divya Prabandhams, and the Divya Prabandhams also become even more valuable with the presence of the commentaries, which add great flavor and value for us to enjoy the Divya Prabandhams. So it was in Srirangam where he also established the 74 Simhasanadipatis, the Acharya Pitams. It was this remarkable act of Embiramanar which paved a way for the great advancement of our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam all over the world. Because with the Simhasanadipatis, he authorized them to go and teach the Sampradayam principles to everyone. Until then, it was just a few acharyas who were teaching the Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, and even to give out the secret knowledge, it will be very difficult to learn that from the acharyas. One has to serve the acharya for a long time together, at least a year, by staying at the acharya's place, serving him in all ways. Only then the acharya will teach the esoteric meanings of the Siddhanta. But Emperumanar looked at the pitiful state of this world and he said, if we put in so much restrictions, there will be very few who can take up to this pursuit. To facilitate everyone, which was the purpose of his incarnation, he asked all these 74 Simhasanadipatis to go and teach the Sampradayam principles to everyone. Whoever desires, whoever is inclined towards Bhagavan, was asked to be taught in these principles. So in this way, in Srirangam, he performed so many wonderful things. He also recited Gadyatrayam and showed the path of Sharanagati, while the Sri Bhashyam, Sri Gita Bhashyam, all of those are for general Vedantis, general establishment of our Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta. The essence of Sharanagati, which is to be understood by the followers of Ramanuja in full, that was given by Ramanuja in Sharanagati Gadyam and in Sriranga Gadyam and in Sri Vaikuntha Gadyam also. But mainly in Sharanagati Gadyam, this Sharanagati is explained in great detail, how one should surrender. In this manner, Srirangam plays a great role. After Srirangam, we will see Tirumala, Tirupati. Srirangam and Tirumala has very close connection. In Amalanadipuran, we can see that it is the same. Sri Ranganatha is present in Tirumala as Tiruvenkadamudayan. Amalanadipuran, Adiyarkennai Aatpadutha Vimalan, Vennavarkon, Veriyar Pulil Venkadavan, Nimalan Ninmalan Nilmadil Arangathamman. So, Venkadavan is Arangathamman. Same way, Mandipaya Vada Venkadamamalai also, we can see in that pasuram also, it is clearly stated that Sri Ranganatha is Srinivasa. So this relationship is very nice to see. After Srirangam, we will see Tirumala, where the Emperuman in Tirumala, Tiruvenkadamudayan, has a very wonderful relationship with Emperumanar. Emperumanar is considered as the Acharya for Tiruvenkadamudayan because of the fact that when the Saiva king was confused by some Shiva devotees who claimed that the presiding deity of Tiruvenkadam, Tirumala, is Rudra, at that time Emperumanar rushed to Tirumala and established that it was none other than Vishnu himself. But before this visit to Tirumala, he already went to Tirumala once, where he went to Tirumalai Nambi, Periya Tirumalai Nambi, Sri Shailapurna, to learn the esoteric meanings of Sri Ramayanam. So he spent 1 year in Tirumala. At that time, well, the first time he went, he wouldn't even dare stepping on the mountain. He said he would not climb the divine hill. But then the disciples came and requested and begged him, if you don't come, how can we go and serve? How can we step on the hill? And finally, Emperumanar agreed. He went up, he performed Mangalashasanam to Tiruvenkadamudayan. At that time, he was initially welcomed by Periya Tirumalai Nambi. where Periya Thirumalai Nambi humbly says, there was no other inferior person on the whole of Tirumala, because when Embiramanar goes up the hill, it was Periya Thirumalai Nambi who goes and invites him, and Embiramanar becomes a little bit shy, because Periya Thirumalai Nambi is like his Acharya. Why is my Acharya coming to welcome me? So he asked Periya Thirumalai Nambi, why did you come? Why couldn't you send someone lesser than you? And Periya Thirumalai Nambi says, there is no one lesser than me here. That was his humble way. And after that he goes and performs Mangalasasanam to Varaha Perumal and then Tiruvenkadamudiyan. He stays there for 3 days without consuming even water, just performing Mangalasasanam. And then he comes down and he learns Sri Ramayanam from Periya Thirumalai Nambi. And at the end of the Sri Ramayana Kalakshepam, Periya Thirumalai Nambi desires to give something to Embiramanar Ramanujar, and Ramanujar asks Govindacharya, who was reformed by Periya Thirumalai Nambi. Govindacharya from Varanasi went to Kalahasti, becoming a Shiva devotee, but it was Periya Thirumalai Nambi who brought him back into the Sampradaya, and Periya Thirumalai Nambi accepted Govindacharya as his disciple, and Govindacharya was serving Periya Thirumalai Nambi. But when Ramanujar asks Govindacharya, because he has specific plans for Govindacharya to come and to have him come and assist in the propagation of our Sampradayam, he requests for Govindacharya, and Periya Thirumalai Nambi gladly sends Govindacharya, who will become Embar eventually, Govindacharya along with Ramanuja. And there is also another time when he goes to Tirumala, when the Tiruchitrakudam, Govindaraja Perumal was disturbed, and the Moolavar deity was thrown into the ocean by the Saiva king there. They brought the Utsava deity to Tirupati, Tirumala, downhill. At that time, Ramanujar goes to Tirumala and establishes the Govindaraja Perumal Sannidhi, which is seen today, with the Moolavar Tirumeni, very similar to the Tiruchitrakudam Moolavar Tirumeni. And the Utsavar Tirumeni of Tiruchitrakudam was preserved from that time there. So it is understood from the Purvacharya literature that Embiramanar had gone to Tirumala at least 3 times in this manner. So after Tirumala, where Embiramanar is considered as the Acharya for Perumal Srinivasan there, because he gave at the time of establishing that Perumal, the deity the presiding deity in Tirumala is Vishnu only, he gave the Shankha and Chakra to the deity. Hence, it is the Acharya who gives Shankha and Chakra generally. So in this way, Embiramanar Ramanujar is considered as the Acharya of Tiruvenkadamudiyan. It is also very unique that in Tirumala Tirupati, other than Tiruvenkadamudiyan and Vishwaksenar is the representative, the commander-in-chief of Bhagavan. Other than Vishwaksena, there is no other Vigraham, deities, placed on the hill. Only exception is Ramanuja. It was Ramanuja who is present in the beautiful deity form, which was established during Anantalvan's time. We can also see how Anantalvan was sent to Tirumala by Embiramanar to perform Pushpa Kainkaryam, to make garlands and all of that to Tiruvenkadamudiyan. And Anantalvan continued to do wonderful Kainkaryams on Tirumala on a regular basis. So this way Tirumala and Emperamanar has very wonderful relationship. I think with this we will stop today. We will see Tirunaranapuram tomorrow because it's already 9:30. Alvar Emperamanar Jiyar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam, Jiyar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam.
To learn such valuable information about our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, please download KOYIL, KOYIL app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Our website is koyil.org, KOYIL.org.